So it's the International Business Festival. We have His Excellency, the Ambassador of El Salvador to Doha, Mr. Milton Alcides. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We also have his colleague and also from the Embassy of El Salvador, Mr. Rafael Martinez. Hi, Rafael.
Hi.
Welcome to IBF, the International Business Festival.
Yes.
We are celebrating global business opportunities around the world.
Great.
Because it's soccer time, but we also realized that there are a lot of international businessmen who are coming down to Doha, and they're looking at opportunities from a Doha perspective as well as from an international perspective. Last year, there was an earthquake when your president announced that the first country in the world which will have Bitcoin as legal tender.
Right.
And that captured the imagination of so many people because Bitcoin is exciting and controversial at the same time.
Right.
Suddenly entrepreneurs around the world was like saying, maybe this is probably the first country which has a framework to, allow innovation in the blockchain and especially in the crypto space. What are your views, Your Excellency, about the whole?
Thank you so much. I really think that when it comes to digital coins, we have to assess that it's not just Bitcoin, but there are more than 2,000.
Right.
And I'm learning that it's going on in several latitudes. Even here in Qatar, I know people that have wallets that do transactions with India, Sri Lanka, and I'm learning that.
Right.
So because I thought it was just a Bitcoin.
Right.
And I'm reading about other coins, digital coins. But in our case, there had been going on transactions, and our government took the challenge, and they decided to have it as a legal tender September last year, the Bitcoin. And for us, as I was sharing with you, is very important the results that we have now, because one of the targets that we have is to be inclusive with the population. And when it comes to El Salvador, we do have 3 million people living abroad. More than 3 million people, it's a little bit more. But we create our own wallet, a Chivo wallet, as you mentioned. And we offered the wallet, and the result were that 200,000 people in the first 2 days were engaged with that. So we are being inclusive, giving this opportunity to have transactions to different Salvadorians in different destinations, and not using the conventional channels.
So you mean the poorest of Salvadorians are using Bitcoin for day-to-day transactions?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And I'm just putting it in the ones abroad, but also locally, we have the people that are getting the culture and the education to do transactions with Bitcoin.
Right.
And I think this is important because I still, have to learn how to do the transaction,
Right.
and it's already going on in my country.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a new culture that we are developing. But when it comes to inclusion, I reiterate, it's very important that people are participating. And the other thing is that investment. I was talking to people that are engaged with Bitcoin, and our tourism, by example. Not just international tourists, but also Salvadorians that live abroad. They are now more coming to do tourism and using Bitcoin. That's another, anchor to pull people to come to do tourism. And we also are doing mining, a little bit of mining by now. It's just been a year, but the government has a plan to release an offer of Bitcoin bonds, so that people can invest, not just Salvadorians, but also investors abroad. And this is going to come out in the next month. Right. And I believe it will be important to help the economy, of course. Right. But to have winners, to all the participants that can take the decision and do the investment. So I believe Bitcoins by now, after 1 year, is positive for us, and it will be growing. Even though the price of Bitcoin is not that high as it was 7 months ago. But the trend is that it's picking up. Right. And I believe that the investors are going to pay attention to that.
Because when we announced that we're going to have a business delegation to South America next year, yes. And typically the big cities which most of our international entrepreneurs are delegates, they talk about countries like Brazil and Argentina, as I was telling you. But this time we found a huge bunch of crypto enthusiasts and investors who have this huge risk appetite, and they say, you know what, we'd like to even see the whole El Salvador experiment, what they're actually doing, because, it's a huge challenge, it's a huge risk, it's a volatile currency, it still is, and when you actually have the lowest strata of society as well, buying, investing, and owning assets, it can always be a bit risky. But the fact is, what I was really admiring, Rafael, maybe I can hear your thoughts too on this, is the president and the leadership, they have decided they're committed on the long term. Like even with the whole FTX saga, I was just reading how they're using the whole downturn to buy more cheap so that they can create, assets for the future. So even for the naysayers, I think it's a commitment from Salvador that we are here for the long term. And if you are an entrepreneur in the crypto space, please look at Salvador as a destination to set your business at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Mr. Ambassador was just telling you, everything started when we opened as a legal tender the US dollar.
Right.
When you trade in El Salvador with Bitcoin, you have the backup that as having the US dollar as a legal tender, we have the lowest rate of inflation that can back up that. So now opening the doors to Bitcoin and having a digital wallet, it was a very strategical move to include the people that was not part of the bank system. And we are talking about poor people that might not have even a bank account. As a third world country, and we are in the way of development. Now, someone that is selling not at a formal business, but maybe for living, they sell coconuts, for example. They were not able to accept a payment with debit card because they don't have a post, they don't even have a bank account. Now with the Chivo wallet, you just need to give the phone number, and you can get paid for some service or product that you're providing, and perhaps you were not part of it and you were not able to be part of it. So this is a strategy that involves everyone, not just a few ones. Every Salvadorian with a Salvadorian ID can download the app, and feel free to do it. And not only trade or make your business with it, but you can also go through different cryptos and manage your funds as you consider the best or as you've been advised to do it. Now we have centers where you can learn from it and not pay like a penny, like going to some training or some 6-month accreditation program. It's like if you want to learn from Bitcoin, you are free to do it. Yeah, so it's something that we are very proud of to be pioneers on that behalf. And I think it's something that is not just for us. It's something that involves the world itself, and we are very happy to know that there is a delegation going next year. Of course, we will be more than happy to wait and welcome you there. And that's what we do. Like for every 3 months, every 2 months, there's some delegations from U.S., Europe, Asia, and we are becoming like this very often. This is very often. This is beautiful because one of the main things of having it is to promote tourism, is to promote attract investment, to exchange cultures.